What's going on, everybody? Slide Dutchman here, and today we're gonna lower the BMW first thing on the list to make it more driftable at least. Next up is gonna be a welded diff because it's just one wheel peeling, which makes it very unpredictable in a drift because it can just grip up. But for now, gonna lower it at least, make it a lot stiffer because it's the cheapest coilovers you can buy, so they're gonna be stiff. And one of my mates who was at the weekend as well, Thomas, is helping me because my back went out, so I can just stand up straight, but I cannot do anything else basically. So let's get started. So like I said, it's just a simple coilover set. The front coilovers are right here. You need to put on your own top hats. These are the shock absorbers, and we have the springs for the back, which will be held in place by these suckers, which you can then lower or whatever you want. I ran into one problem because I took them off before, and turns out that my coilover, or my original suspension, or as far as it's original, is not the original, because the top hats that were on there were way bigger. Turns out I needed to have sorry, kneeling down takes a bit of effort. I need to have these top hats, which have a little thing in here that spins instead of this top ring, but you will see when we get those out. We noticed that the previous owner had it on coilovers because we took some bolts out and it went really easy. Even the lug nuts on the front were just so loose, it was not even safe to drive, but oh well. We got one top hat here on already, and then let's see how much she drops. For now, maybe as a reference, this is the stock height. So at the front it's a bit wheel gap. The rear is pretty much eliminated wheel gap. I don't know why, but it'll be a lot lower when we're done with it. That ring you see on the back, that needs to hit the ground, I think. We'll check back when we get the wheels and everything off. So looking at the difference, it's like this big piece of rubber that goes from there to there, and then compared to this one, which looks kind of the same size, but then the nut is like in there, just the size of the thickness of the bearing basically. And we took this one out, and the spline here, this size is just the size that was longer and smaller, so the top hat will fit. It's just twice the size of what the shock on this one is. So this should work, and it's already like a good 2 inches lower. So let's see. Took it out here. It's pretty simple, just the bolts on the top, which are like 3 bolts there, and then there's at the, I don't know if I can show this, but you can see it on the mounting points. Oh, so it's the same here. You use these 2 holes to the bottom of the the hub, and then 1 bolt here that keeps it in place. This is just on there for, I think, universal use, because like as you can see, it's not on the original one. All right, let's put it in. As you can see, the top of the strut tower is completely different compared to the what they made me believe was an original one, but this is way different. They both work, but let's see. So the front side is on, just adjusting the coilovers so the car has the same height all the way around, all the 4 corners. Because when we put it at the same height, because the engine, if you look at it from the middle, the engine is a little bit more on that side instead of that side. So there's a bit more weight on that side, or for me the left side. So this coilover needs to be a little bit lower just to compensate for that. It's not the ideal option, but it's a cheap coilover set. If it was a more expensive one, then you could have done adjustments with the damper and everything. But okay, I was working on the rears, which is pretty simple. Wait, that one is easier to spot. It's like the top. Take these two bolts off. You can drop this whole thing down. Take this little adapter with these pins off the shock, and then you put them on the new one. And then the springs are basically very easy to do because they're just mounted. That's the shock. Just unbolt that one and it just drops out. And then the spring is over there in that thing, which you can maybe see like this, but it was making noises, so probably it's gonna be bad when we pull it out, but we'll see. So we're onto the rear side now. Stupid thing, don't put it on the e-brake, because if you put it on the e-brake, this caliper will hold the wheel and so the axle, so you cannot flex it down. And we were just like, there was no movement in it at all. And then I was like, well, check YouTube maybe. So, and they had so much flex in it, and I was like, what the fuck? What's wrong? And then, oh wait, it's on the handbrake. Maybe that makes a difference. And we did it, and immediately it just makes it flex like crazy. So we're just able to pull the spring out. No biggie. This one's already out. See the little knob there? It's gonna go on there. Yeah, and then the spring underneath. And then the shocks, which we replaced these top heads of the shocks of the previous one on the new ones. Should be a like 10-minute job now. Pretty easy, pretty straightforward. Don't forget to smile.
Easy peasy.
Fucking easy.
Lemon squeezy.
It's almost too easy, man. You can put some tension on the thing, because I don't want that.
No, you don't want this?
No, I don't want the rattling bullshit. It's not gonna ever be so low as that, but if you hit a speed bump or whatever, still need to daily hit it. Also, like the front is already down. It's pretty low, but it can go lower, but I don't want to go lower, because for the people that know me, I'm more of a functional car guy. I mean, for drifting, the first thing I want is just stiffness, so the car stays more horizontal instead of leaning over on its suspension. Lowering the center of gravity, of course, a bit, but I still need to go over speed bumps. And here in Holland, I mean, this street is pretty clean, but it's no fun being too low and scraping everything and ruining your car. Like people having like big Supras or Skylines or Evos or whatever, being crazy fast, few hundred horsepower, and then they cannot use it anywhere because they're too low. Especially here with all the speed bumps. His car though, it's a Toyota Camry from 1985. Pretty unique here in Holland. You don't see him that often. Kind of looks like a bit like 11, but it's the same era. Then you look at the back and it's like, what the hell? They attached something extra. Pretty cool car though. It has a character modern cars don't have. It's my other daily Celica. Cool car, but this is a 1.6, so it's a slow version, unfortunately. But this is drawing my attention way more now, because this can go sideways. So we're done now. The front has dropped significantly. God damn it, hot word. The rears, it almost feels like it's almost the same. Not as happy about the rears, but they can go maybe a bit lower. The only thing is that there's a sort of a rubber that is on the, well, I'll show you with the other side, but it was missing on this side, so that's where the clunking noise came from. Was there a clunking noise? Yeah, there was a clunking noise if you hit a speed bump a bit harder, because there was no rubber material damping the metal spring hitting against the body. So I'll be picking up that in these next upcoming days and replace it. Now we know how it works. It's like 10-minute job to replace it. So let's see how it drives. So just cruising around a bit now, and it feels a lot bumpier and stiffer, which is a good thing. It's not rubbing or anything or hitting the ground, so it's high enough to be functional as a daily as well. Feels a lot more solid over that bump.
Yeah.
Normally the rear end would just drop. Whew. Yeah, it's a lot more horizontal when you steer, because it used to be a bit of a boat. Take the long way around back into the town, get all the speed bumps, make the suspension work for its money. Just 200 euros, cheapest set I could buy. What was the whole plan of it? Low budget drifting, just whatever you need and nothing more. Because of course if you have a $5,000 budget or euro or whatever, then of course you can build a proper drift car, but I'm doing this now. I'm still on the 1500, which I think is quite reasonable. It might even be less bumpy with the rear, because the rear is a bit stiffer. And before this,
Yeah, and we didn't put it on the lowest you can go, so you still have some weight.
Yeah, there's still travel in the suspension.
Yeah.
Oh, close to the curb, but I have balloon tires, so it doesn't matter. Nice. So after installing the coilover, it's now time for me to lay flat on my back again. I want to give a shout out to Thomas, who really helped me out with installing the coilovers, or basically did all the heavy work. I basically did the thinking and handing him tools and everything. Also a major shout out to Dennis, who supplied me with the original top hats for the coilovers, so I was able to fit them in there. So that's done now. Like I said, I need the rubber pieces between the springs. I still need them. I will get them this week from the wreckers, junkyard, whatever. After that, it's just I need a set of tires to go shredding, because when these tires that are on here are done, I cannot drive it around as a daily anymore. So I need an extra set of tires, and I'll be pretty set to go drifting. Still need to put the diff on there, but I have it. It's welded. I just need to fill it up with oil and install it. So that's going to be the next video. For now, I want to thank each and everyone for watching. Hopefully you like this from gamer to real life drifter series. It's just the start of it, because it's just maintenance on the car or little mods on the car that you need to do. After that, the real drifting is gonna start, and then we're gonna see how much I've learned from games and how I can translate that into real life and see how fast I can pick it up. And of course, keep doing it as long as the car lets me. So, thank everyone for watching. Please give it a like if you like this series. Give it a subscribe if you want to see more of this series. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Remix.